Greetings, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council, and members of the public. This is Brenda Lopez, Director for the Housing Department, and this presentation will provide an overview of the Housing Department and the services delivered to the community in alignment with the City Council's established priorities. The Housing Department has 68 employees and provides services through 7 divisions, whose joint efforts are focused not only on ensuring safe and decent housing, but also on strengthening surrounding communities, protecting the rights of both landlords and tenants, and increasing housing supply. The 7 divisions consist of the Housing Choice Voucher, hereinafter referred to and most commonly known as Section 8, the Public Housing, Rent Stabilization, Grants Management, Homeless Services, Affordable Housing, and the Economic Development Divisions. Something that is unique to the city of Oxnard in comparison with other cities in the Ventura County is that the Housing Department oversees the housing authority for the city. The Housing Authority operates the subsidized rental assistance programs, which are directly funded by the Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD. Out of the 7 divisions described in the prior slide, the Section 8 program and the Public Housing Program or Division are part of the Housing Authority. The Section 8 division provides subsidized rental assistance to families whose income levels are considered low to very low under the area median income levels for the Ventura County. Families in this program pay on average 30% of their gross monthly income towards rent. There are approximately 1,587 units in the Section 8 program, which house 3,695 persons. Over $30 million are paid annually to landlords on behalf of program participants. The Section 8 division not only manages the Section 8 program, but staff also oversees the Emergency Housing Voucher Program, Homeless Set Aside Voucher Program, the Veteran Affairs Supported Program, Mainstream, and the Family Unification Program. In addition, it oversees the Project-Based Voucher Program, which refers to subsidized assistance that is tied to a specific unit, meaning that the participant must live in the assisted unit versus a voucher that is tied to the participant and can be used in the private rental market. The core functions of the Section 8 department consist of waitlist administration for each program, admissions, ensuring that participants are eligible for the program. In addition, the program requires that all units are inspected at least once within a 24-month time frame, and staff also provides ongoing case management. All program participants are required to be recertified for eligibility on an annual basis. The Section 8 core function meets the council priorities of quality of life. Similar to the Section 8 division, the Public Housing Division provides subsidized assistance to low-income families. Some of the key differences between both divisions is that the Public Housing Program income levels go up to 80% of the area income level for the Ventura County versus Section 8, which only goes to up to 50%. In addition, the Housing Authority serves the function of landlord. The public housing program has 523 units that are spread over 11 different project sites throughout the city of Oxnard. The units house approximately 1,412 persons. In addition, the Housing Authority also has 17 units which are not part of the public housing program, but have a restriction in place that must be or that requires for the units to be rented to families who are low to very low income. The income level restrictions are determined by the federal or state funds that were used to acquire the properties to begin with. The major programs under the public division include the Capital Fund Program, which is the team or the department that is in charge of managing all significant capital improvements to the public housing properties. In addition to a maintenance program or maintenance team, which is responsible for responding to tenant work orders and for maintaining the day-to-day maintenance requirements of the properties. And lastly, the public housing program, which is responsible for ongoing case management and property management as well. Similar to the Section 8 program, public housing program participants must be recertified on a yearly basis. This division meets the council priorities of increasing or improving the life. As previously mentioned, the 523 units that are in the public housing program are scattered throughout the city of Oxnard in 11 different sites. These include 102 units at Squires and Trevino, 12 units at Cuesta del Mar, 12 units at Concord, 24 units at Fashion Park, and 12 units on Hill Street. The rest of the sites include Althea Court, which consists of 21 units, Felicia Court, which comprises of 100 units, Plaza Vista, which consists of 50 units, Fremont Way, 12 units, the Juanita, Colonia, Marquita, and Gloria units, which consist of 70 units, and lastly, the Palm Vista project, which consists of 100 units. Again, this program priority meets the council priorities of the quality. The Housing Authority operates and manages the 1500 Camino del Sol building. This building is most commonly known by the community as the Multi-Service Center, which is owned by the city of Oxnard. The premises represent a tremendous asset to the La Colonia community and surrounding neighborhoods. For the past 2 decades, the premises have provided an operational base for the Resident Services Program under the Housing Authority, and also it houses the Office for the Resident Services Coordinator. The coordinator partners with various community service providers to offer services on site, including workshops that are open to the community. Some of the services include monthly food share distributions, participation with the American Red Cross to provide workshops. Resident Services also participates in the annual Cesar Chavez March, the National Night Out. It leads and provides resource job fairs, the Dia de los Muertos altar, Las Posadas, and also an annual toy drive. In addition, the tenants that are located at the multi-service center include Child Development Resources and Catalyst Kids, which provides child care for low-income families, New Dawn Counseling, which provides therapy and counseling. It houses an office for the Future Leaders of America, and the city of Oxnard also has the Mini Colonial Library branch and a computer lab on site. The programs facilitated through the Multi-Service Center meet the council priorities of quality of life and economic development. As part of the resident services initiatives and programs, the Housing Authority also has the Family Self-Sufficiency Program. Currently, there are a total of 126 active participants in the program. This program is available for public housing or Section 8 program participants. An escrow savings account incentive is set up where funds are taken directly through increased rent payments and are placed in an interest-bearing account. Participants receive case management and referrals for various workshops and efforts that will increase or improve self-sufficiency. For example, education, job training, credit counseling, financial literacy, childcare, and homeownership. Participants are required to complete their self-sufficiency goals in order to receive their escrow distribution. The Family Self-Sufficiency and the Resident Services Coordinators work with families for a minimum of 5 years. Since 2010, a total of 96 participants have successfully completed their program. The total escrow disbursed amount is approximately $1.86 million. Out of these 96 participants, a total of 8 families purchased a home. The Homeless Services Division comprises of 2 full-time staff members, and some of the key functions of the division include serving as the project lead for the Encampment Resolution 4 million grant received by the city of Oxnard, and this was received to respond to the McWayne Boulevard and the 5th Street East of Harbor Boulevard encampments. The program involved an effort to relocate people from encampments and to provide them with interim non-congregate shelter. Once transition was successfully completed, on-site case management supportive services were organized to assist the unhoused individuals in securing emergency services, but also to assist them in identifying opportunities for permanent supportive housing units. A total of 44 persons were successfully transitioned from these encampments into permanent supportive housing units, with the last clients remaining in the program being moved into the Casa de Carmen development that was completed in late November of 2025. In addition, the Homeless Services Division does street outreach, also known or referred to as backpack medicine. This outreach is conducted every other Tuesday from approximately 8:30 a.m. all the way to noontime, and it is done in collaboration and in partnership with the healthcare agency. In addition, the Oxnard Police Department homeless liaison officers identify the largest encampments on site at any given point of time. And this sets the goals or the work for that day for the street outreach efforts. In addition, the Homeless Services Division staff participates in the One Stop Clinic. The One Stop Clinic is held at the Salvation Army every Wednesday, usually between 8:30 to 11 a.m. And the services provided to individuals who come in range from connecting to social services, clinic, tests, food pantries, assistance with completing general relief applications, and also putting them on the wait list for housing opportunities. Homeless Services Division is also in charge of monitoring the weather and notifying partners of the foul weather shelter activation. The foul weather shelter is established in collaboration with various community partners to protect and preserve life during inclement weather events. The shelter is triggered by whenever there's a forecast of over a half an inch of rain or if temperatures will be at or below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. And again, as previously mentioned, the Homeless Services Division also responds to the general public who is seeking assistance with housing matters. And this is done in partnerships with nonprofit agencies for emergency shelter, via street outreach, homeless prevention, and rapid rehousing. The Homeless Services Division's programs serve the function of increasing the quality of life. In addition, the Homeless Services Program Administrator serves as the lead for the City of Oxnard in the point in time homeless count effort, which is led by the Continuum of Care for the Ventura County. This includes the coordination with local law enforcement, recruitment of volunteers, training, creation of maps, and participating in the point and count. In 2025, the City of Oxnard experienced a 15% reduction in homelessness for individuals, which was a decrease from 752 to 634. This also marks an important milestone as it is the second consecutive year that the City of Oxnard has seen a decline in the homeless population. The Grants Management Division administers 3 annual entitlement grants, which are issued again by the Department of Housing and Urban Development, and they consist of the Community Block Grant, or CDBG, the Home Investments Partnerships Act Grant, or HOME, and the Emergency Solutions Grant, or ESG. Every year, the City of Oxnard receives approximately $2 million in these entitlement funds. The grant division oversees the funding applications from community stakeholders and prepares the city's annual action plan, which describes how the funding will be spent, who will receive the money, the services to be provided to the community, and the population to be served within the year that the plan is developed for. The division is also responsible for all compliance, all required reporting, and oversight of all of the grants. The grants are used to fund programs which support public housing services, economic development, public improvements, programs that address homelessness, and also programs that increase affordable housing. Some of the core goals of the program include, again, affordable housing, social services, addressing homelessness, the quality or improving quality of neighborhoods, economic development, and effective program administration. The Grants Management Division efforts meet or increase the council priorities that have to do with improving the quality of life, economic development, and also infrastructure and natural resources. The Rent Stabilization Division is in charge of monitoring and enforcing various City of Oxnard ordinances. These include the Just Cause and Tenant Protections Ordinance, which is also referred to as Just Cause, and the Rent Stabilization Ordinance. Both ordinances were passed in 2022. Key elements of these ordinances include a limitation on annual rent increases for specified properties at 4%, mandate regarding relocation assistance, and also authorization for the City of Oxnard to enforce the ordinances through civil citations. The department, via the Just Cause Ordinance, complete an intake process. The packet is then forwarded to the City Attorney's Office for review, and a citation is issued with the total fines based on the number of violations. The Rent Stabilization Ordinance is managed through formal notices that are issued to landlords to ensure they're complying with the maximum allowed rent. And if they have already charged the tenant, then the notice will ask for a reimbursement of any overpayment by the tenant. If failure on behalf of the landlord to comply results in citation, which is further subject to fines. Since 2023, the number of citations have increased from 8 to a total of 76 in 2025. The Rent Stabilization Division team also takes phone calls and walk-ins, including emails from the general public, which may have questions about these ordinances or general questions about tenant and landlord-related issues. The number of calls or walk-ins has increased from approximately 686 in 2023 to the most recent amount in 2025, which is approximately 2,192. The Rent Stabilization team is also responsible for the Anti-Harassment Ordinance, which was just passed in 2025 by City Council. The division is in the process of recruiting personnel and also establishing the procedures to carry out this assignment. In the passing of the ordinance, 2 new staff positions were approved. One for an investigator for the Housing Department, whose recruitment is in the final stages, and also a position or a dedicated attorney for the City Attorney's Office, which has since been hired. And lastly, the Rent Stabilization Division is also in charge of the Mobile Park Rent Stabilization Ordinance. This ordinance applies to 20 mobile parks here in the city of Oxnard, which range in size from 39 to 265 spaces. The ordinance establishes mechanisms by which owners of mobile home parks may apply for general rent space increases. The Rent Stabilization Division calculates the rent increase formulas each year and is also tasked with coordinating hearings in regards to rent increase challenges which may be filed on behalf of a tenant or a mobile park owner. The services by the Rent Stabilization Division increase the quality of life. The Affordable Housing and Economic Division oversees the implementation of programs and projects that stimulate economic growth, revitalize neighborhoods, and create and preserve affordable housing. The Economic Development Team provides access to resources that help businesses to either launch, grow, and succeed in the community. The Affordable Housing staff also provides loan servicing and monitoring for residents and developers who have received loans for either the development, acquisition, preservation, or rehabilitation of affordable housing in the city of Oxnard. Currently, the loan servicing portfolio consists of 642 single-family residence or mobile home restricted units and 47 projects, which consist or have a total of 3,603 restricted units. A deed restricted unit can include a unit with the city that receives some level of government assistance. It could be at the federal, the state, the county, or the city level. All of the units have a varying deed restriction terms, and affordable housing developments usually were constructed or also rehabilitated again with a variety of subsidized financing, which may have a deed restriction term in place, and the Affordable Housing Division staff is in charge of monitoring compliance. The programs managed through this division increase the quality of life and also economic development. The Affordable Housing Division also provides gap financing for affordable housing developers and ensures compliance with affordability restrictions for the city's portfolio of affordable housing units throughout the city of Oxnard. Some of the most recent projects include the Ormond Beach Villas, which is housing that targets the unhoused veteran population, Central Terrace, which is for the unhoused population and also low income families, Casa Aliento, which was a rehabilitation project which focuses on the unhoused population and also unhoused non-elderly disabled individuals. Dolores Huerta, which is a affordable housing project for farm workers and also includes 13 units that are segregated for veterans who were previously unhoused. And then most recently, the Casa de Carmen project, which consists of 55 permanent housing supportive units for previously unhoused persons and families, and also on the first floor has a 110 bed shelter. Both the Housing Department and the Housing Authority, or in other words, the City of Oxnard and the Housing Authority, applied for the Choice Neighborhoods Program. The Choice Program leverages significant public and private dollars to support locally driven revitalization strategies that address struggling neighborhoods with distressed public housing through a comprehensive approach to neighborhood transformation. The three core goals of the program include housing, which is to increase affordable housing, people, which refers to programs that improve the outcomes of individuals and families related to employment, health, and education, and also neighborhoods, which seeks to create the conditions that will encourage public and private reinvestment in the communities via amenities, safety, education, and commercial activity. All of these are important factors in creating a vibrant community. The grant or the choice grant is comprised of two funding opportunities. One is the planning grant, and the second is the implementation grant. The Housing Authority, looking at its public housing sites for La Colonia and Felicia Court, partner or join the city of Oxnard, looking at not only the Colonia neighborhood, but also the neighborhoods of Fremont South, Wilson, Hobson Park, East, and Five Points Northeast, partnered together and submitted an application for the planning grant. A total of 42 applications were submitted to HUD across the nation, and only a total of 13 grants were awarded. The city of Oxnard received a grant. This was in 2024 for an amount of $500,000. In 2025, the Housing Authority and the city worked together and in partnership to complete a comprehensive assessment that it also included analyzing data to identify assets, opportunities, and challenges in the community. This year, we have also been working on developing strategies which involves the community and specialized focus task force meetings. The task force meetings are open not only to the community, but have also been engaging participation from the Community Development Department, Public Works, Culture and Community Services, IT, Fire, and the police departments. In 2026, our goal is to finalize goals and strategies and position ourselves for an opportunity to apply for an implementation grant. Implementation grants vary in funding amounts. The ceiling that an agency can apply for is $50 million, and the application would be submitted in the later part of either 2026 or early 2027. These efforts under the Choice Grant meet the council priorities of increasing the quality of life and also economic development. We'll be sharing some of the challenges that are facing the housing department and its programs. Changes in federal regulations. At this time, we have received information that there will be a change in the mixed status families policies. These policies previously allowed for a family to have individuals in the family who did not have an immigration status. At this time, it is unclear if the entire household will be terminated from the program or if the families will be afforded an opportunity to cure the deficiency. In addition, there is a Housing Opportunity through Modernization Act, or HOPMA for short, which will be changing at least 14 different sections of both the public housing and the Section 8 program. The implementation or effective date has changed about 3 to 4 times in the most recent 2 years. However, some of the provisions have become effective. This has created an administrative burden on staff as they are managing both programs under 2 different regulations. There's a funding uncertainty both at the state and the federal level. The Section 8 program has never been fully funded, so this already creates a budget gap. The Department of Housing and Urban Development has announced that it will be ending its funding for the Emergency Housing Choice Voucher Program. This program was scheduled to be funded for several years to come. In addition, when a housing authority does not receive enough funding for its programs, it can be termed as being in shortfall status. When an agency, such as the City of Oxnard Housing Authority, is determined to be in shortfall status, the agency is unable to issue new vouchers. This not only impacts the ability to continue serving families, but it also impacts the housing authority's following year's allocation, as the allocation is based on the utilization rate on the most recent fiscal year. And lastly, entitlement grant applications always exceed funding availability. Although the city receives approximately $2 million a year, usually there are applications seeking funding support that exceeds the allocation that is received on an annual basis for the city. There's also the factor of increased cost. Rising rents require a higher rental assistance subsidy, which means that the funding gap will be increased, but also that the number of families that can be assisted decreases. The rising construction costs are further delaying deferred maintenance for the housing portfolio. And then in the affordable housing arena, it is becoming more difficult to layer sufficient down payment assistance programs and funding so that families who are low to moderate income can afford to buy or purchase a home. This, of course, also means that the demand for affordable housing exceeds the supply. The limited supply of affordable housing makes it difficult for families who are in subsidized housing to secure units, and also for low-income families to have an opportunity for homeownership. The housing department has also faced challenges due to recruitments and vacancies. For example, the grants division operated with only one full-time staff member for almost a year. The Section 8 department has had a couple of vacancies which have all taken at least 1 to 2 years to fill. And the maintenance team recently had retirement of tenured staff, which again created an issue with capacity and with the recruitment of the positions. Some of the ongoing needs of the housing department include investing in and support for the rental assistance demonstration program, which is the conversion efforts to ensure the long-term viability of public housing units. Secondly, to continue the funding levels for the rent stabilization program so that we are allowed the adequate time for the development and the implementation of a fee study, which will generate revenue to pay for operating ongoing costs. And also continue these funding levels so that the necessary staff can be on board to help manage the increase in demand for services. Third, continuous support, and this could be via attending meetings and commitment of funds such as the Community Development Block Grants of the Choice Neighborhoods Grant, which, as previously mentioned, involves the development of a comprehensive neighborhood transformation plan for the La Colonia and the Central Oxnard neighborhoods, which again include La Colonia and the Felicia Court public housing properties. Fourth, support efforts to increase both project-based voucher program initiatives or opportunities and also affordable housing inventory. And fifth, the sustained funding and support for initiatives that help address the needs of the unhoused population, including response and mitigation efforts. That concludes my presentation. Thank you for your time. Both staff and I will be available after this appointment item to answer any questions.